also known as Sugar Bosky.
Hello.
And Godfred Akotobo. I don't even know what his nickname is.
Nikweku.
I thought that's like a chief of Nikwaku something.
No, Nikweku, not Nikwaku. Or not Nikoku.
That's your
Nikweku.
Please, if you went to Prempeh College between the year
please, Deaf Dog.
98 to 2000, I want his nickname.
Deaf Dog.
Deaf Dog.
Deaf Dog.
This name is that.
Let me Dr. Nana Kwabi Esiama of the Peace Corps. When we went to Form 1, started giving out names.
So distributing out names.
He called me Deaf Dog.
Just like that.
His name was Rampet.
Look at that.
Short for Rumpelstiltskin.
He just gave you a name, Deaf Dog.
Charlie. No, actually, he turned my name around.
But where did he get the name from?
I think Esiama was facing the wall one morning and said, Charlie, Godfrey, let me
He got Deaf Dog. Or some dog chasing him in his dream or something. I don't know.
Well, Dr. Nana Kwabi Esiama, fantastic guy. Good morning to you.
Fantastic stuff. Deaf Dog.
Yeah.
But what was the best nickname you had in your secondary school?
Oh,
The nickname that Charlie, correct nickname.
Charlie, there was Mumbai. The one Milwaukee, he was called Mumbai.
Yeah.
But a lot of the names had to do with, popular American culture back in the day.
Yeah.
People had Snoop, people had all kinds of names.
Yeah. And we had teachers' names too.
Yeah, I told you about MD. It was managing director.
He doesn't understand.
But it was Mampam Darling.
Anyway. Well, send us some of your popular secondary school nicknames and your popular school anecdotes. Godfrey, let's start with the headlines.
Okay, so Nikweku on the mic. Front page of the Daily Graphic. Cross-examination of EC chair. Supreme Court decides tomorrow. Speaker suspends sitting over COVID-19 bug. Appointments committee begins ministerial vetting today. I think we'll spend quite a bit of time on that this morning.
Yep, the Ghanaian Times says cross-border racketeering. 19 foreigners arrested in Ho. We can't keep COVID-19 protocol violators in cells. That's the police speaking. Police grab 2 baby thieves in Ashanti region. 2 baby thieves in Ashanti region. And COVID-19, CRI kicks against closure of schools.
Front page of the Daily Statesman. Government pays 12 billion cedis for unused power from NDC's take-or-pay energy contracts. Be happy we are not testifying. Respondents' councils tell Chachu.
The finder says 142 COVID-19 positive cases recorded in schools in 4 regions. Supreme Court's decision out Friday. Too early to shut down schools. Child Rights International. From doomsday to stable power. Cost 12 billion cedis in capacity charges for power we did not use. And Dr. Awal's pedigree suits tourism, arts, and culture sectors.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Give us Jean Mensah. Mahama pleads. Inmates test positive for COVID-19 in Eastern region. Too early to close schools, says the CRI. Speaker shuts down parliament. And NDC hangs Koku Anyidoho.
Okay, the Ghanaian Observer says 2020 election petition. You can't compel us to enter witness box. Ekufado EC lawyers rap Chachuchi Kata. Ashanti youth apologizes to Baumia for peddling falsehood against him. Appointments committee vets Ekufado ministers today. Central Region Police appeals for quarterly disinfection. And 12 billion cedis paid for power not consumed.
Front page of the Herald newspaper. Very interesting headline as usual, Bernard. Chachuchi Kata catches EC boss hiding behind private land case to dodge constitutional accountability. Schools breeding more coronavirus cases. Minority calls for dissolution of government's advisory team. Reject Oforiatta and Godfrey Damis nominations. Parliament petition.
The Ghanaian Publisher says Child Rights pleads with government to give specialized treatment to children with COVID-19. Zoom Lion disinfects 50 police facilities in Bono region. Oforiatta clears NDC's mess in energy sector. And we are entitled not to call witness. Respondents tell Chachu.
Front page of the BNFT, finally from me, Bernard. Citi shows resilience against dollar, euro, depreciates against pound sterling. The child rights call is also on the front page of the paper.
And 2 papers. One, the New Crusading Guide says 12 billion cedis paid for power not consumed. Cost of NDC's pay or take contracts. Accra police facilities. Disinfection begins. Electrochem Ghana supports Adam police with pickup. Ignore fake acting Osumanche. and Edward Asunene appointed as Deputy National Secretary Coordinator. And the Chronicle says mosquito bites and Koko Anyido whose head rolls.
Charlie.
Prudent management of economy saves Ghana from sliding back into doomsor. My lords, can I answer one at a time? Tachu's plea after being bombarded with questions from the lords.
Okay, so in the energy story you read, it's actually take or pay, not pay or take. I think you just mix it up. Let me take you online. CitiNewsroom.com. The big story. Kandapaji Maminu to face vetting committee today. I hope they wrote take or pay.
Yeah, they said the new crusading guy says pay or take. That's what. So I just read.
Maybe they are creating a new one.
Yes,
I don't know.
verbatim.
A couple of quick stories just to add. So if you go online, stop using military personnel as bodyguards.
True.
For state officials. This is Minority Leader.
I agree.
Meanwhile, they're also demanding crime statistics for the past 3 years from the police. Now, other stories on CitiNewsroom.com quickly. University senior staff suspend strike after NLC injunction. No need to fear COVID-19 vaccine. This is Dr. Dacosta Abuaji. Also, report COVID-19 cases in your schools. That's Nasia to pre-tertiary institutions. And yesterday's story, 2 police officers under investigation for alleged robbery. Can you imagine? Now, if you go to myjournalline.com, they're leading with the appointments committee. Vetting begins today. Also, as you read, Parliament suspends sitting for 3 weeks following surge. Meanwhile, FDA lawyer goes to Court of Appeal, stalls her injunction hearing. This is the return bribe saga. And police gun down suspected armed robber, arrest 2 others at Hachu. And then Funny Face arrested in Kaswa for unlawful discharge of firearm. Charlie, this matters. And then a very interesting one here. 23 schools in Greater Accra region record active COVID-19 cases, something to keep an eye on. If you go to citybusinessnews.com, BOG governor urged to prosecute persons involved in collapse of banks in their second term. Also, tomato shortage looms following traders and transporters strike. And then COPEC is telling us fuel prices may go up by 15 or 16 pesos very soon. Star FM, Bagwin suspends parliament over COVID-19. Also, dissolve incompetent COVID-19 technical advisory team. This is NDC MPs. And NDC suspends Koku and Yidoho. Meanwhile, Eastern region chaos as police block mourners over COVID protocols. And the big story globally, US Senate votes to continue with Trump impeachment. Charlie, yesterday, the people were talking for like hours and it was live on television. That's also what they're doing in that country. So, guys, let's get into the big stories. I don't know where you want to start, whether it's Parliament, whether it's COVID or whatever. Today is that kind of day.
Let's just go to the Supreme Court quickly.
Yes, to just tell what's happening there.
And
Yes,
then we move on.
Yes, please.
Front page of the Daily Graphic, Supreme Court decides tomorrow. It had been billed by some as the highlight of the 2020 presidential election petition, but the possibility of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Gina Dukwe-Mensah, being cross-examined is now in dispute. The Supreme Court will settle that dispute tomorrow when it rules on an application by lawyers for the EC, the first respondent, urging the court to uphold this decision not to call any witness. Now, if the court upholds the application, it means the petition will be nearing its closing stages, as what will be left will be lawyers filing their written addresses followed by the judgment of the court. However, if the court dismisses the application, lawyers for the EC and President Akufo-Addo will have to call their witnesses to mount the witness box and swear oaths for their witness statements to be adopted as evidence. Now, there was over 3 hours of legal arguments yesterday on whether or not Mrs. Mensah should testify. Lawyers for the parties, that is Mr. Mahama and the EC, made their respective arguments before the Apex Court. They touched on the rules of court relating to witnesses, case laws on the rights of parties to call or not to call witnesses to adduce evidence vis-a-vis the court's power to intervene in the exercise of those rights. It was quite nice to watch yesterday.
Yeah. So then, of course, that's the big story.
Yeah.
We are also told that when will the judgment or the decision be announced?
Thursday.
Because there are a couple of papers are making. Somebody said Friday, but it's Thursday.
Thursday.
So that's tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
We look out for that. Of course, they've interviewed some of the spokespersons. They've all said what they want to say. But this is the main story.
Yes.
Then the other story I think we should just go on quickly is that Kandapa and Ajimamenu to face vetting today. Although Parliament has been sort of closed down. Do you have that story? Parliament is going to go on a
Yes, I have that story.
It's like a forced
I have that
break.
story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. So the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Sumana Bagbin, has suspended plenary sitting in the chamber for 3 weeks to curtail the alarming spread of COVID-19 among members and staff of Parliament. The break takes effect from today, February 10th to Tuesday, March 2, 2021. Currently, the number of infections among members of Parliament has increased from 15 to 17, while infection among staff has soared from 56 to 151.
And then the vetting story, it says that the Parliament's Appointments Committee will, from today, although Parliament has done what you just announced, they will vet Kweku Atimamenu and Abed Kandapa, Ministers Designate for Health and National Security, respectively, today. Now, the two will be the first to be vetted of more than the 40 sectors and regional ministers nominated by the president. Now, we know Atimamenu is Minister for Health for the past 4 years, MP for Domas Central. Funny thing, both men are chartered accountants. Both men used to be on the Public Accounts Committee.
Yeah.
And so basically, that the vetting will be live on Citi News, Citi Television.
There is also indication, Bernard, that a switch might be made so that the education minister designate actually moves in early
because of school issues.
Because of school issues.
Okay, so listeners and viewers, just keep an eye on us. We're going to have it live. We understand for social media and protocols cases, they'll provide the feed and all of that, but we're going to have it live on Citi Radio and Citi Television. So watch out for that.
Well, if you go to page 10 of the Ghanaian Times, since we mentioned COVID and all, it says COVID-19 CRI kicks against closure of schools.
Yeah.
Now, Child Rights International, a non-governmental organization, has said the cases of COVID-19 among children have not reached the level of risk to determine whether schools should be closed or not. The executive director of CRI, Bright Kweku Apea, explained that though there had been a rise in cases of infections among children, available data was not strong enough for the country to call for a shutdown of schools. And he said this yesterday in Accra at a press conference on the COVID-19 state in terms of children in Ghana.
There are a couple of stories I thought you should just bring in whilst he's here. So the story is on Joy Online. 23 schools in Greater Accra record active COVID cases. Now, story says DG of Ghana Health Service has revealed that 23 schools in the Greater Accra region have recorded active COVID-19 cases. Now, you're speaking at yesterday's press conference. He says out of the 166 suspected cases, 166, a total of 39 students had tested positive for the deadly coronavirus. He further added that 12 teachers and 4 non-teaching staff of the various schools had also recorded having tested positive. So far, there hasn't been any recoveries or fatalities recorded on the campuses. Then he gives some other details on the school.
There's another link to this on page 4 of the Herald newspaper with the minority in Parliament calling for the dissolution of government's advisory team on COVID. And they are saying that schools are breeding more coronavirus cases. And this is a call made by the Member of Parliament for Jabuso, Kwabena Minta Akando.
Then, okay, so I think that's it for the COVID side. There are a few more, but I think they are the stories we already know. So Nathan, let's come back to you.
If you go to the Finder on page 2, they talk about the power situation. So it says from doomsday to stable power. Now, Finance and Economic Planning Minister Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta has announced in the expenditure advance of appropriation for January to March 2021 that a whopping 12 billion cedis has been paid as capacity charges to independent power producers since assuming office in 2017. Now, this explains why Ghanaians have enjoyed stable electricity supply since 2017, as opposed to the excruciating rolling power cuts Christine Doomsday Ghanaians endured from 2011 to 2016. Today, many Ghanaians do not even want to hear the word doomsday, and the slightest fluctuation in electricity supply reminds them of the dreaded 4 years of the phenomenon. So the story goes on to detail the various numbers and costs.
Let me give you something else that we've been talking about. Stop using military personnel as bodyguards for state officials. This is Haruna Idrisu, CitiNewsroom.com. Minority leader Haruna Idrisu has urged the president to call the military to order with regards to the use of its personnel as bodyguards for state officials. According to him, the practice that's fast gaining currency amounts to a denigration of the role of the armed forces. Now, he was speaking to the media yesterday. He called for immediate action from the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Quote, "We find it despicable that men and women in uniform, particularly from the armed forces, will be reduced to holding bags of key public officials. We want to help him restore the dignity and honor of the Ghana armed forces." Unquote. So I'm sure that's a pet peeve of some of our listeners.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we haven't discussed in a while. For example, tomatoes.
Okay, talk to me.
Ellen Dapa has a report on City Business News. Tomato shortage looms following traders and transporters strike. Now imagine life without tomatoes. That would be serious. Ghana might soon be experiencing a shortage of tomatoes and a jump in price of the commodity as a result of an ongoing indefinite strike by Tomato Transporters Association. Strike began on Sunday, February the 7th. According to the association, is due to the silence of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and other authorities on robbery attacks on their members. Your issue that you raised last 3 days on the various routes when going for the products from Burkina Faso, as well as returning. According to the group, 7 of their members have been robbed and shot in less than 3 weeks while returning from Burkina Faso, leading to the death of the 2 drivers. So this is imported tomatoes from Burkina Faso. Hey, so we import tomatoes too. It's for this reason that we've decided to embark on the strike action, since efforts to alert the authorities have proved futile. Now, the national chairman of the Ghana National Tomato Traders and Transporters Association, Eric Osei-Tufo, told Citi Business News that till their issues are addressed, they will not go for any tomatoes. We've done so many press conferences and we're waiting for a response. If something is not done, we've decided to park our vehicles. Tomatoes will never come to our country unless we hear from our appropriate leaders. The only thing we want is protection. But Godfrey, I'm just saying, why do we have to keep importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso? Is it because of the type they have that we don't have? Can we? I don't know.
Well, you have to ask the experts.
I hear we also import some onions from Niger or something.
Yeah, lots of onions.
Oh, guys, Charlie, we said we are doing planting for food and jobs. And that doesn't mean we import, but Charlie, tomatoes there, man.
Maybe the weather and things. No?
Really?
Maybe at certain points our production dips.
Yeah, production that is not. You need to.
I don't know. Look, let's stop giving excuses. If you are doing such a major project, you should be. I mean, these are staples. So in a national security situation,
Tomatoes and onions.
so if you want to eat kenke and pepper,
It means that Charlie.
maize may be imported, possibly. Tomatoes for the shito. It's only your pepper and the onion self Niger.
The pepper itself might be imported.
Charlie, won't be that.
The red
It's not
one.
correct. NDC suspense go you know who you have that story.
Oh yes, we have it. But
What
the
has
guy
it-
says NDC hangs.
Yes, give me. What has he
Give you
done?
that one.
Where is he going?
Well, according to the paper, the opposition National Democratic Congress has officially suspended its former Deputy General Secretary Kokwanyi Dohu from the party following 2 petitions from 2 registered party members calling for his outright dismissal. In their petitions, the 2 Mubarak Abdul Karim and Erike J, Uchi Regional Communication Officer and Bruno Deputy Regional Communication Officer respectively, claimed that the former Deputy General Secretary consistently and publicly made certain pronouncements which damaged the reputation of the party as against the party's constitution and should therefore be dismissed from the party for his conduct.
Okay.
But if you go back to the Ghanaian Times on page 10, they say police grabbed 2 baby thieves in Ashanti region. Now, 2 women have been arrested by the Agogo District Police for allegedly stealing a 1-year-old baby girl of a rice farmer in Asante Achim Adiemra. Ekuya Eva in her mid-40s and Amapokua 19, daughter-in-law of Eva, are currently in the custody of the police, assisting with investigations into the matter. Confirming this to the Ghanaian Times, the Agogo District Police Commander, Superintendent Kingsley Owusu Bempa, said the suspects were remanded in police custody by the Agogo District Court on February 3 this year, adding that their plea was not taken. Superintendent Bempa said the police had mounted a search for 2 other suspects in the case who had run away after learning of the arrest of Eva and Pokuya by the police.
Now, that's a sad story of the death over rap superiority or dancehall superiority in the central region also makes it to the back. You haven't heard? No, let me tell you then. Back page of the Daily Graphic. Fight over Rap King title turns deadly in Cape Coast. So a 24-year-old up-and-coming musician in Cape Coast, the central regional capital, has been stabbed to death. The deceased, Emmanuel Akins, a.k.a. Unruly Grank and Soft Metal, in music circles, was stabbed last Sunday at the Orange Beach Resort near the Cape Coast Castle over a misunderstanding between him and Bright Ellis, a 27-year-old artisan. The late budding musician, who was well known in Cape Coast and was also very popular and active on social media, was managed by Highness Music. Apparently, it was a rap battle over who was the best rapper in town.
You know what's troubling? There's lots of firearm stories. So, for example, if my online story, Funny Face arrested in Kaswa for unlawful discharge of a firearm. And comedian Funny Face was on Monday arrested by the Kaswa police for unlawful discharge of firearms at a drinking pub. Speaking to Joy News, Richard Kojo, the regional PRO Irene Sewapom said someone had reported Funny Face for causing a disturbance in a bar. She said investigations revealed the actor Bon Bensinodro Boateng had gone to the bar where a misunderstanding ensued between him and the owner. I thought bars were even closed. Oh, they were not. Although the 2 were separated, Funny Face went home, returned with a gun, and fired warning shots.
So he went home.
I'm telling you. After the arrest, the comedian also reported. Now, after the arrest, the comedian also reported the owner for assault after sustaining injuries during the fight. Currently, Funny Face is in custody of the police and will be granted bail today. The drinking spot operator is also in the custody of police. and we are investigating him for assault.
But
She said the gun had also been retrieved, adding investigations are ongoing to determine whether it's registered or not.
But your first question is the most important. Aren't bars supposed to be closed?
I don't even know. Well, I don't know whether they were buying or they were just.
Speaking of which, Bernard, let me
That's
take you back
crazy.
to COVID. Quite a few more stories I want to touch on.
Yes, please.
So, if you go to page 2 of the Daily Statesman, Ghana Health Service urges choristers to wear masks.
Okay.
Yeah, it says that the Ghana Health Service has advised choristers and singers to ensure that they have their face mask on all the time when ministering at church, because they are likely to expose themselves to the venom of the virus without the mask.
That wasn't in the initial
Yes.
church rules. So this is an additional.
an additional one.
Yes.
That has come through. And cop died of COVID-19, not poisoning.
Oh.
That is on page 7 of the Daily Guide. This is coming from Sunyai. Says that the police in the Bono region have denied social media reports that one of its personnel, Inspector Fred Ama of the regional CID unit in Sunyai, died through poisoning. According to the police, the health authorities confirmed that the policeman died of COVID-19 related issues instead. So there's a video going around that indicates that this man had been poisoned, blah, 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 and they are saying, no, he died of COVID.
Now, a couple of quick stories on COVID. No need to fear the COVID vaccine. This is Dr. Dacosta Boaje. He's the Director of Health Promotion of the Ghana Health Service. He's encouraged the public not to fret over safety issues concerning the vaccine for the coronavirus disease, as the government is committed to ensuring the vaccines will be safe to use locally. And then there's another one. University senior staff suspend strike after NLC injunction. Now, this story says the University Senior Staff Association of the University of Ghana has suspended their industrial action. Now, members had been on strike for close to 3 weeks in protest of the delay by the government to pay outstanding Tier 2 contributions of their retired members. Now, the suspension follows an interlocutory injunction secured and served on the association by the National Labour Commission. And then Zakaria Mohammed, who is the national chairman, says, I write on behalf of the National Executive Council of the Senior Staff to suspend our industrial action, which we declared on 21st January 2021. So at least that's a good one. Meanwhile, the issues they raise include their pensions and some of their allowances and things will be addressed supposedly in different engagements.
Well, if you go to page 10 of the Finder, back to the Finder, for those who do not know, the president has appointed Major General Francis Idua-Manfo, retired, as the new National Security Coordinator. He replaces Joshua Treme, who died a few weeks ago due to reported complications of coronavirus. Now, the new National Security Coordinator was in 2006 appointed by former President John Kufuor as Ghana's ambassador to Liberia, and before that, he was head of Defense Intelligence in the Ghana Armed Forces. And the president has also appointed Edward Kweku Asumeni as Deputy National Security Coordinator.
Well, Bernard, let me do a sports story, but quite a serious one. You know, I've been complaining about infrastructure a bit. Page 47. So it turns out that power supply to the Greater Accra Sports Directorate, which is located at the Accra Sports Stadium, has been turned off for the past 30 months.
30 months?
Yes. So according to Mr. Richard Idrisu Ewuntoma, who is the Director of Sports Greater Accra Region, they owe a bill of 72,000 Ghana cedis, which has been outstanding. So they are unable to work. They are working outside and from all over the place. They don't have water. They don't have anything.
This is not good. Now, Council of State elections are going on, and some big names in there. Here's a nice story from Joy Online. It says Ras Mubarak Iti Mensa among personalities contesting Council of State.
Ras Mubarak.
Oh yes. So some names from the quarters of the NDC and the business community have popped up in the contest for membership of the Council of State. They include former MP for Ningo Prampram Inokte Mensa and former Kumungu MP Ras Mubarak. Now, the council plays a critical role in governance of the country, as it is enjoined by the Constitution to counsel the president in the performance of his duties. And other personalities include former CEO of Stanbic Bank, Alassane Andani, Ni Kote Jani, a journalist and immediate past Bono Regional Representative Kojo Ajeni Boateng, former member representing Ashanti Region, the Akrofosohini Nana Owusu Echam Brempong, and Eunice Jacqueline Bua, a businesswoman seeking election. So, I hope you guys are following the Council of State elections. A couple of quick stories around that. You have final time for a quick international one.
Oh yeah, I have time for that.
Trump impeachment. Senate says trial is constitutional and can go ahead. This is from the BBC. The U.S. Senate has found that the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump is constitutional, allowing full proceedings to begin. Mr. Trump's defense team argued that he could not face trial after leaving the White House, but a 56-44 majority voted in favor of continuing, with a handful of Republicans backing the measure.
Yesterday, something significant happened. You know, the World Health Organization finally landed in China to do their own investigation. So yesterday, they are saying that it's extremely unlikely that the coronavirus leaked from a lab.
Oh, it's now that they're investigating that issue.
Yeah, so they've gone to Wuhan.
Okay.
They've finally been allowed.
But I'm told one of their officials was tested for COVID on his way to do that investigation, and he was detained for 2 weeks. No, it's true. So one of the WHO officials was not allowed to enter China for like 10 days because he now was holding the COVID. No?
Yeah.
He was sending a new strain there. He said,
Wait for us.
Gbedela. And that was a newspaper review. Charlie, no busy. Godfred and